Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Good morning and thank you for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to the Extra, an extension of Good Morning Uganda. In case you have just joined, I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono. It seems today I'm going to be discussing issues of ICT throughout, but please when you meet me on that way, don't call me ICT. But it's what I've been discussing in the agenda and now in the Extra. It's all about ICT. But no doubt, that is the way to go, and more so with artificial intelligence. You must be well versed with issues of ICT at higher institutions of learning. Now, what do we mean? This churn out people that are going for the job market, universities, tertiary institutions. And what has happened today, the job market requires you to be conversant with ICT, to do things the ICT way. It's no longer a time when someone has a secretary who is going to do work for them in most offices. If someone says, well, send me an email. You know, it's not about write for me. If someone wants a report, it's no longer the days when you have to get pen and paper. Say, well, just do a report and forward it. Some organizations even now require your application later. You don't have to come with your CV and all that. Apply, just scan, send everything. So this is the way to go. And the biggest challenge we find is that universities, these institutions, bring out students who do not have what is needed. They are doing things the analog way, yet we've gone digital. I'll give you something. I'm happy the guest I have is a journalist by profession, I must say, if I remember very well, because we practiced with him for some good time, good years, an old friend.
Sure.
But when you were doing photojournalism, many that did journalism, we remember we were using negatives in photojournalism.
Sure.
You develop a picture, you're taken to a studio, and you're marked either some passed, some failed.
Yeah.
Now, in modern day, I don't think there is any newsroom in the print media that uses that technology.
True.
But at university, it is still being taught. So you come out thinking that's the technology you're going to use, only to get to newsrooms in the print media. We're using digital images where you can even take and say, I don't want that. You delete, you take another. You can take as many. So what are higher institutions of learning churning out? Is it matching the job market? Now join me, welcome Conan Businje, who happens to be the marketing manager and head of students recruitment at Victoria University. You're most welcome.
Thank you, my brother, and thanks for a wonderful introduction. Especially the aspect where you say, I was a journalist. We started actually a trade of journalism with my brother here. Years back, but for him, he has loved the trade more than me. And trust me, some of the things I'm going to tell you is from my background as education editor for the record 15 years that I was at New Vision. And I've seen the things, I've seen education system, I've seen where we are coming from and where we are going. And I was impressed by your preamble. Did you know, by the way, that as we are progressing with technology, we may not even need photojournalists in certain newsrooms? Yesterday, I was sitting with my Vice Chancellor, Professor Lawrence Muganga, and we were looking at how to create adverts. Do you realize that now you can order artificial intelligence to create for you a scene using real people? I can instruct it to create for me a scene of school students with different uniforms of various schools, young African students, walking on the streets of Kampala, going past Victoria University and waving to the Vice Chancellor, and I put even his face and everything, so that I can create an entire video without really having the real people on the ground. And I create an advert where students are passing by Victoria University and they're waving at my Vice Chancellor. Real him, real time. Not a mere picture of a man standing there. Real Vice Chancellor, real Lawrence Muganga, doctor. standing in front of this place. I can even say also with my brother Robert from UBC standing with the Vice Chancellor, I'll get your real face. You'll stand with the Vice Chancellor, and kids will wave at you. Give me a reason why I need a videographer. So that's how technology is going. The question is, as you a parent, wherever you are sitting, whatever you are doing, can your child, or is your child being prepared for the next generation? Now look at it this way. And I always used to do such stories, predictive stories, of the future of the world of work. You would imagine that if your child is in P1, he's going to be graduating after, plus you do 7 years, plus 4 for O-level, plus 2 for
A-level.
A-level, that's already 11 plus the other 2, makes it 13 solid years. Just imagine the changes that will be in technology and artificial intelligence in the next 13 years. Right now, artificial intelligence can think faster than you.
Definitely.
And better than you. Because if I were doing a demonstration here and asked AI, please name for me all the presidents of Africa, it would name it for me. I don't have to Google to look for one by one. And I say, by the way, give me the birth dates of all presidents of Africa. I could easily get that. You can never get that. Not even in any time. Even you who is watching me right now, you can't. Even if I told you to name all the presidents of Africa, chances are very high. Whoever is watching me, in 100 people, there could be one person who can pull off that. Probably even no one. But artificial intelligence will give me that. Now the question is, even you who is teaching a child right from primary, secondary to the university, how do you do your exams? Are you still giving me theories, making me learn these things in theory, and then you expect me to cram those things and reproduce them in an exam? And that's how most universities are assessing. Thank God at Victoria University we can't stomach that. We took a decision to quickly move from that. Even an exam is an experience, but not just a mere experience, is trying to probe your mind if you understood what I taught. If I give you an exam of journalism, and I'm a lecturer for journalism, or on media studies, communication and media studies, I'm going to ask you, for instance, to create, I can say, for instance, of recent, there has been an increasing level of crime rate in Kampala. Do a feature story explaining the problem and the solutions of the increasing crime rate in Kampala. And I would expect you to really go and look for statistics, police statistics. I would expect you to go and interview people who are concerned in police, or maybe your community. I would expect you to talk to the real people, community people who are being robbed, who are being killed, whose relatives are being killed. I would expect you to talk to various people in the community that are affected by the growing crime rate. I'm just using this is an argument. People shouldn't look at me and say I'm saying there's a growing crime rate. Obviously, that might be the case, but that's not the argument. The argument is look at the example and focus on the detail just for class purposes. Now, I would expect that a student comes back with a complete story for the paper. Argument, if I'm teaching maybe in newspaper writing. Well, I expect him to go and feed him scenarios, go to police, find whatever he has to do, interview people, and produce for me a story in 6 solid hours. That's the exam. When you submit that, I'm going to score you on the basis of the usability of your story you've given me. Who did you quote? How authentic is it? Does your story, is it well balanced? Are you being objective? Are you quoting everybody, all the principles they taught us? Does it have the W or the 5 W's and H? The when, how, why, all that. So does it have all those tenets? I expect that as you write a story, you remember the tenets of journalism I gave you. The question is, do people quickly know that with the change of technology, you cannot teach the way you are teaching in the past? It can be cram work, it has to be practical, and you need to be able to use AI, artificial intelligence, and be able to use technology to actually do the teaching.
Now, one of the things and why I felt it important to have Victoria University as we look at ICT at our institutions of learning is one unique factor I found there. When I went to Victoria University was the fact that ICT was a priority.
A priority, and it's a must.
And I was shocked that there wasn't anything like paperwork there.
We don't accept
Be it
all.
coursework,
Right from
be
admission.
it exams,
Right from
be it
admission.
everything. So I asked myself, first, there's an assumption that gadgets, internet, are very expensive. Now, that is why many higher institutions of learning, many schools in this country are not walking that lane.
Yeah.
Students were telling me here it's a must for you to have a laptop because the teachers, they'll send coursework, they'll do things this way. It's not about when are you handing in,
Yeah.
it is all about using internet you
Yes,
send,
yes.
your marked things
Yes.
come back. If you're sent to do a story, where you take 2 weeks, you find that here they expect you. YouTube has these clips.
Yes.
This rather than
Get
moving
them.
around,
Yes.
get them, but edit properly.
And our credit,
and
be able to give credit.
Credit
If the
to
photo is
the
not
sources
yours,
and-
you've used
yes.
a photo of another
So-
person, give him credit.
So this came to my mind: cost of internet and gadgets needed.
A number of times, obviously, people who apologize for people are failing the use of technology in institutions, they will obviously keep talking about the cost. But here is a reality. We must all start from somewhere. I may not have an iPad like yours, but I must have a phone. Okay? Now, I'll tell you something that is very interesting. Almost 90% of the students that join the university, almost 95 and 90 is even low, 95 have smartphones. Because smartphones now are as cheap as 150.
And these students can show you
100.
the type of smartphones they have.
Some of them actually have more expensive gadgets than us.
Very expensive gadgets. I don't know how they get them.
Exactly. You find a student has a gadget which is close to 7 million shillings. And that's okay. It's not a problem. The question is, some of them, obviously, you understand they're different classes in any given institution. So you understand, but at least someone should have the real basic thing to use. And obviously, the other thing is that you can even, this phone, most people think this gadget is meant for making calls. And after that, you can keep it in your pocket or the
Go
bag.
to TikTok, go to WhatsApp.
Even now, okay, some of them even think you cannot just have to go, you have to go TikTok. This gadget can be your future source of income. I'll tell you something, if I lost my job where I work today, if I just went to schools and I told them, I'm going to help you do social media accounts for you, I can end up signing like 20 schools in 1 month. And when you go there, the problem is that do not come and tell people that, you know, I need a salary. No. Tell them, I just want to work. But I'm moving up, and I'm going to answer your question in a given way. But I just want to create an opening for people to know the things they can do. So if you have a phone like this, you cannot do social media for schools. A school can pay even 1 million shillings. I can earn 20 million shillings, more than several people in this town, by just using my phone. And what I'm saying, everybody can do it. But to go back to what you're asking, the cost. Everyone must start somewhere. If you're running a school, don't you realize if you bought 1 laptop and you bought a projector, the projector can be bought by even several teachers to teach people, to be able to teach the pupils or even the students in your school, showing them the things in real life. You're teaching about waterfalls. Do you realize that the child you're teaching, some of them have never seen a real fall?
Yes.
They've never even imagined how a waterfall looks like. But you can easily show them all the waterfalls in Uganda or even across the entire world. I can travel to the UK, to the US by just going on Google, bring the real video, and people see the waterfall in any part of the world I'm talking about. So if you're talking about geography, you're talking about a storm. If you're talking about several other things, you can talk about rivers, you can talk about different weather conditions. You should be able to just download videos for them and they see that. So, you know that when you're in class and you're talking about some of the things, children have different imaginations and some of them are completely wrong. When you talk about River Semuliki, there is a boy thinking of a small river running through a forest. There is a guy thinking about a big river moving past communities and gardens. We have different anticipations and thinking and picturing of what the teacher is talking about. But you can help the entire class have the same picturing if you can show them that this is what I mean by Queen Elizabeth Park. This is what I mean by Kabalega, whatever. You should be able to show it to them. When you talk about kings, if you're teaching them about SST, you can show them real faces of kings. Put them on a projector. Display them on the wall. There are people who think Kabalega, maybe God forbid, people might think differently. I don't want my brothers, the Banyoro, to even now use different simulations of my king. They might attack him. But people might even think of Kabalega in different ways, height, level, size. But if you just give them one particular photo, don't understand this is King Kabalega, Omukama Kabalega.
And what you see sticks.
Sticks.
Than what you imagine.
You've said it well. It sticks. Now, what are we doing? Someone will tell you that is very expensive, but just buying one laptop and a projector is a good start. And then you allow the children even to learn to use the projector. If you have 5 computers in a school or 10 computers, make sure at least each class gets time to go to the laboratory and they check at least how to switch on a computer, how to type a few words. It may not be so much. You're running a school where you collect 500 million shillings, 1 billion shillings, 3, 4, 5 billion shillings, and you're telling me you can't put up a computer laboratory and you're saying it's expensive? They're saying it's internet. The problem with this country, which we need to partly fix, all of us, is when we leave some of these social services in the hands of the private sector. Education is one of them. It should never have been in the hands of the private sector. You're going to tell me you come from a private sector. Why are you talking like that? Yes, I understand what I'm talking about. I also want to see the greater good for the country. What matters is not the salary I earn, but the country I care about is what kind of children will my children grow up with? What people can I sit with in the evening? What kind of grooming have they received in life? Are they rascals who never went to school? Are they people who are completely not educated? Or are people who wasted their money and sold their father's lands and they couldn't even be able to do anything in life because what you gave them was not what they deserved to get?
That's very painful.
That's very painful. So the greater good is that some of these services should have been left in the hands of the public sector. And the public sector then should have been good enough to ensure if it's a public school, it had better be that good. But now you get into instances where you find some public schools are really very, very good. Commendation to government. Some people have managed to go to school because of public schools, but at times you also find at times when they lack and private schools are far, far better than them. No wonder that, and when they become far better, they also ignore some of the things that matter most. This is the ICT we are talking about this morning. Can they invest some little bit of money into that? And for government that is focused, just make sure, and we are focused government, by the way. But at times with the priorities we set for our country also need to matter. So can we have enough good internet around the country? That's the least we can do for everybody who deserves to be in a school and study very well. Now, when you go to universities like us at Victoria University, you get to a point where you have to buy internet, and whoever enters the building has free internet. But then what about the other students who go to schools that don't have access to internet? How about other people who can't access internet in their villages? How about moments when they're not at school? How do they access internet? Because that's the lifeline. Do you realize that abroad, or even people who have embraced technology, I was just giving a scenario how I can make several millions of shillings by just embracing technology as a student, as a graduate. The problem is that when I leave the university, I didn't embrace technology. I don't understand anything about technology. The problem is that even when I get out of the university, I'll be as green, if not worse, than the way I walked in. Because I have lost so many years, and I've not learned any skill. Technology is the future, and there's nothing I can do. Nowadays, you can order drugs, food, clothes, anything to your home. The other day, I was driving to a school in Mutundwe. I have never gone to this school. I even don't know where it is. I don't know anyone in Mutundwe. With due respect to Mutundwe, but it's a very devout place. Yes. But I just had to switch on my phone, and it took me to the school up in the hill. I'd never been there. That's technology.
And says, well, come to my place. I don't know that. Well, I'm sending you a pin.
I'm sending a pin. I'll drop a pin. Please find us here. People no longer have to travel to attend our graduations. You can show them whatever is going on, live stream for them, wherever they don't have to get on a plane to actually come and attend. They can even give their address on your graduation from wherever they are. It eases life, it makes life cheaper, it makes life affordable. I'll give you an example. You don't have to travel all the way from Gulu to come and attend lectures in Kampala. For a serious university. Actually, if your university is still telling you, you must travel all the way from your village to come and attend your lectures and get a hostel where you're going to pay lots of money, buy food, at times even in a secure background, surrounding, you are actually in a wrong institution. I don't have to tell you to just come to Victoria University, we do that. It's only common sense to see that you need to get to an institution. Go to any other institution that has that, because that's the future. You don't have to come to Victoria University, but find an institution that embraces technology, that prepares your child for the coming of the new jobs. I'm telling you, I was sitting with my vice chancellor, we're designing a video which we had to hire people in the past 2 years to come and spend a full day discussing how the video will look like. And then you finish and you find actually they can't even do a quarter of the imagination you had of a video. But now I can imagine a concept, I sit on a computer, in 30 minutes to have a video which we are sharing on the digital platform, and it's being watched all over the world, and everybody can easily see it and make sense out of it and apply online wherever they are, submit their papers wherever they are, get admitted from wherever they are, attend lectures from there, wherever they are, do exams from wherever they are, either on the farm or in the garden or traveling, wherever you are, stay there, attend your lectures, get graduate, and actually be able to do a job from wherever you are around the world. You don't even have to travel to Uganda to actually do your studies and graduate. What a beautiful moment in our time.
Well,
me and you went through universities where you, I'll tell you a scenario, by the way. One time I traveled, and I was supposed to make a presentation. My lecturer told me in one of these universities, their top universities, you will travel back and make your presentation. And if you don't, you never pass my paper. This is at a master's level. And if you don't come back and make this presentation, you have failed my paper, the last paper, moreover. I had to travel and cancel my trip and come back. What a shame. What a shame. And by the way, that same university, up to now, even if I traveled and I'm doing a PhD, I would be instructed to come back and I present from here. Just because they have not even embraced the simple things like simple technology. You can customize and build your own platform like we've done at Victoria, which we call V-Class. But even if you don't, you can use these paid platforms to teach. The best thing. All you need is to have approval from National Council for Education, which must assess how you're teaching. They assessed hours, and they scored it 80%. Yeah, I think it's, 80%. Good to be able to get used in teaching. Get yours. Build a system. Ask for assessors to come from National Council, and because you need a benchmark. You need to have at a level where you know at least you have a bare minimum. Benchmark from other institutions. Build a system. That's the future of education.
Well, we are still looking at ICT at higher institutions of learning. The world has gone in that direction, and universities, high institutions of learning, must be able to churn out graduates that have the skills needed for the 21st century. And one of the skills is ability to use, ability to innovate solutions based on ICT to prevailing problems.
Yeah.
Just think of a young man who sat down and came up with mobile money.
Yeah. Came up with safe car.
Came up with these safe borders.
Yeah.
Think of the man who came up with the umeme yaka meters. That even when you wake up and you're in darkness, all you need is money on your phone.
Stay in your bed, pay.
Are we able to churn out such students at these universities that are going to be able to come up with solutions to prevailing problems? Are we able to churn out students that can use these machines, to save time, to save their employers costs, where maybe one would have so many lecturers, there are just few lecturers. My brother, he can tell you that during our days, if you're working on radio, you would come to a studio, you have someone who is playing music for you. Let's go for a break, someone plays music for you. You have someone who is going to bring in the adverts for you. You have a continuity announcer. You have a technician running the console by then. That's, you know, all this today, when you go to a radio station, it is just you.
Yeah, it's just you actually. Actually, you can actually be in the US and you have your iPhone. I'm using iPhone specifically because that's what they're using for most of these tech in the radios. You can actually do a show from wherever you are. I have a pastor friend of mine. Every morning he's on, I think, one of the stations. I don't have to mention names. But he's always there every morning, and he does the show from his home. Or they just have to say, you are now live, now start a show. He preaches in the morning, and from that, he drives to church and does his normal service. In the olden time, he would have to shoot the radio station in the city, shoot back to his station in Ansana. But you can't do that now. Just get on your phone. Make your show, present a show.
Now, let's also look at interest of students.
Intake.
Intake.
It's exciting.
How do we promote this interest? Yes, at lower levels, you find that these people are so eager, computer science, laboratory, they are so excited for the exposure of these machines. Now, higher institutions, you find that many are not aware that the world they are heading into requires this.
And it is a way to make them love it, even if they don't. I'll tell you something. If you, for instance, a case at Victoria University, sorry for people, because I'm using examples that I've been in, because we have broken the walls.
And I have a student there who was telling me, but you see, for my university, the problem is you don't write.
Actually,
I'm like, what do you mean by you don't write? He said, no, there, even if it's, you see, if person comes, projector, the things he talked about, I don't understand them very well. But he was, but which university is that?
The university I went to, when I was studying,
you're going to hand in coursework. Where are your papers?
the university I went to, you'd carry a bunch of books like this. Even me carrying this notebook is a sign of slowness. Maybe I haven't picked up the full speed. I shouldn't even be walking with the diary, for God's sake. If you still have an institution that embraces collection of books and bags, and people are carrying books like this, and they're going to the university, and they have a pen, and that's where their life runs, as my vice chancellor says, you have a problem on your hands. That's unacceptable. Children on arrival, on your admission, first of all, you never get us to get you papers to apply. If you can't, we'll sit with you and show you how to apply online. We're always using your phone. No paperwork. On arrival, exams, courseworks, everything will be done on the computer. And I know there is fear at times for technology. What you do is simple.
That's the right word I wanted to use.
Exactly.
It is fear.
Fear.
For technology.
Exactly. So what
tell someone, government comes with e-government system of doing things. They tell someone, apply for a passport.
Yes, e-receipts. They say, that is a hard one. And
I need to get someone to do it for me.
And then the smart way is that for the people who know technology, they rush in and open cafes and do the passport registration for you. Yes. He sits down, he finishes and says, it's actually 50,000 to apply for you, and then you have to pay the other amount of money to the real URA collection point. And at the end of it, you can make money from people for being laggards. Laggards are people who never want to embrace technology. They want other people to really get there first. So now, if you avoid being a laggard, what do we do? Is that we make sure every single student that works in our institution, the first course unit we teach you is called ICT, and you must do it. It's not a choice. Either you're doing medicine, either you're doing journalism, either you're doing nursing, all of you must learn to use computers. That's first course module. The first module you must embrace. Others course them course units. That's the first course unit you must embrace. Everybody will do it, and no one will dodge that. All of you have to do it. It's a must. And if you can't do it, and if you don't pass it, you will fail you. We don't fail, that's the wrong word to say probably. You can't pass if you've not attended lectures and done exams. We can't pass you, you have to wait until you do it and pass it. You have to do a retake. Now, that helps people to embrace technology. But also, secondly, no one is allowed to handle courseworks. Handwrite courseworks. All courseworks must be typed. And we give you courseworks on your system, a portal, which is our V-class, virtual class we created, or Victoria class we created, which is a global class that can even embrace 5,000 students and can be taught at the same time, which takes out the other cost of building several buildings just because you have a big population. Nowadays, we tell people we are getting close to 10,000 students. They say in 2-3 years you have 10,000 students. That's a joke. Why would they even fit in this building? They just don't know what we do. The trick is to be able to use a virtual classroom where you can embrace everybody. And those who want to attend physically, because it's a blended learning, you actually attend part of the lectures physically, others you can attend online, depending on the course and the module you are doing. Now, on top of that, all exams must be typed. It is okay, you could be a person who types like this, using two hands like this. It is okay. By the time you are done, you will be like this. We all learned how to walk. When I see you running, that's not how you started. There's a moment you started and we used to sing for people, Tengerero Mana immediately. And before you knew, the kid could stand, and before you knew, the excitement comes. When you realize actually, now you can stand up without holding anything. You need to say child who learns to stand and without holding anything. She's happy, he's happy. And then all of a sudden, just they can move a step, they get excited. And then all of a sudden, when they begin running, the excitement is much, much more. That's the same beauty with technology. We see students who come in and know nothing. You tell them stand and they're scared. I'm talking stand, I'm trying now, learn ICT, learn technology, they are scared. Then they hold a bit. Then they release, they say, oh my God, I just did it. I did it. I did it. And by the time they leave, they are more excited about the experience that they can use technology to make money. And also the other thing, obviously, that pushes off students is that in most universities, people don't appreciate technology just because they do not see the value in it quickly. But now we've made a must. When you join Victoria University on orientation, you tell us a project you want to do. You document it and sign. And we make sure we follow you, nurture you, work with you. By the time you graduate, you must, in your final semester, present a comprehensive project that can earn you money or can support community, and there is evidence to show that. And then obviously we are working with registration of working government entities, Uganda Registration Bureau Services, to make sure that every student can actually be able to register their courses, their projects as a company. And that helps you if you work with the Bureau for registration of these programs. At the end of the day, you know you have a company that you've registered. By the time you graduate, you have your company that helps you to actually earn money. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't earn money, it supports community. Because life is not just about making money and minting money.
Yes.
In helping community, that's where you find your calling, your earning, your livelihood. So, and by the way, if you don't have that project, you will never graduate from Victoria University. Forget the transcript. Because the transcript must be able to show that you've actually done a project and it's available and it's visible and has been scored and assessed. By the way, the assessors are external people in the real world of work. If you're calling yourself, you put up a good website that is working, assessors will have to come from real journalists like you to assess it and say this is feasible, this makes sense, you can make money out of it, and you score him on that basis. Now, that's where education should be. The problem with this country, which we need to fix, which we can't wait for government to fix, is that people take people's money and they promise them good quality education, and it's a joke, it's a scam. We need to stop scamming parents. Some of them come to a point where they sell their land, sell their property, to send their children to school. A child graduates and is even asking you for money for the hanky. It's actually worse than off the time we walked in. Some of them even maybe had up small projects which collapsed as they were chasing the degree. By the time he graduates, his rabbit business, his goat business has collapsed because he spent so much time at the university. More reason now why we don't allow people to spend all the time at the university. For us, we do 3 semesters, and which we call trimesters, and people say, you're operating like secondary schools. But just obviously, I understand where they're coming from. But I haven't understood that we only do that because we need more contact time with your student. Because the remaining part of the time you have is that we attend only 2 to 3 days at the university. The rest of the week, you must be connected to a documented, I repeat the word documented, that we know, a documented company or organization or institution or on your project that we know that helps you get life skills and experience. This business where you graduate and they say 3 years experience, what do you get if you aren't doing what we are doing? So you make sure that we let you be able to go get connected, so that at the end of the day, when you actually leave, you have enough skills. That's why we do the 3 trimester system, that we have enough time for people to go for the work integrated learning opportunity. And you set up a project, and if it's tech-led, technology-driven, the better. Because we are going to begin now funding people who have projects that are tech. You have a small company, with how much do you need? You say, I need 10 million shillings. We give you 10 million shillings. We become shareholders, not for the sake of earning money from you. We don't need your money per se. It is just to teach you that there is something called a business, that a business is managed by people. There are people who buy shares probably in your business. We're teaching you how to manage a business, even if you're a doctor, a nurse, or a business person, or you did IT or hospitality. So at the end of the day, you have a project that is running, which we've invested in, and we've created an incubation for you to grow that company. If it turns into a multi-billion company, why not? We'll be benefiting as we benefit. All we need is a small bit of shareholding.
Conrad, I have to go for a break.
Sure, bro.
A very interesting conversation here when we look at the future of our education and ICT. Let's return shortly.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial star 165 star 3 hash or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, a documentary film about our unity as Ugandans and Africans.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
We people who live across the Nile, we are so related from our myth or from just the Nile.
We are the same people, and genetically we are even the same people.
We are similar people.
We are one.
Pamoja, we are one.
Use that word, pamoja.
Premiering every week from 3rd February to June 2024 at the National Theatre and Indere Center. Daily screenings are from 4th February to June 2024 at Ham Cinemax and the National Theatre. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko pamoja?
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso. Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala. We have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
All on your public broadcaster. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from that break. Thank you very much for being with us on UBC TV. It is the Extra with me, Robert Cherabo Nyonyitono, and I have Conan Husinje, who is from Victoria University, as we are looking at science and technology, ICT at higher institutions of learning in this country. Like we said, and we will continue to emphasize, that the world has decided to go digital. The world has become a global village. Now that means that when you study from a university in Uganda, you're competing with people all over the world. And what that means, do you have the competent skills for competing, of which one is ICT? You're competing with a child in India University, well conversant with ICT. We are no longer studying to work in Uganda. We are studying to work anywhere in the world. And there are now many organizations who don't have, are you ready to work in any part of this country? And they'll tell you, are you ready to work in any part of the world? That is where we are going. And now, what connects you? Your CEO based in the USA is going to have a morning meeting, and they expect you to have a report. File a report. How is your country, you're the branch manager and all this? Are you going to do that through paper? Meetings are held, they just give links, portals and all that. So how are universities that are churning people for the job market. Because after graduating, we assume that one would just go into the work life. Now, if universities are not giving us this, then we are doomed. So we are discussing today, how do we push for this further? Do we have case studies? What have been the successful stories? What have been the challenges? And now I want us to focus on challenges.
Yeah.
We've seen Victoria doing this, and some few, I must say, because even some of the old universities we talk about have not reached some of these levels. Well, they will say investment and all that. But what have also been the challenges? We've had the good story. Let's look at those that are also encumbrances.
Obviously, the other challenge you will notice is that technology, in certain aspects, it is cheap, but at times it's also expensive. I looked at an aspect where we had to purchase smart boards, not whiteboards, smart boards like a TV screen, if I may put it in a vague way for anyone to understand, which you can write on. But a smart board where you can actually write, download stuff, go on the internet, where you can view the entire class. The way you are seeing me here is the way you see me on a screen in case you missed class and you're home. The way you see me here is the way you should see me from your lecturer or from a student in class participating. Also, when you get to participate, I should be able to see you on screen in class, the way you see me here. Now, that's expensive to buy those smart boards, really expensive. By the time we bought smart boards for the entire university, that was an arm and a leg. But there could be other cheaper ways. You would start with projectors. Do the same work, do projectors, from there migrate to another level. Have a starting point. You can't do everything in one day. That's the honest bit about it. Two, there are simple laptops and desktops you can buy. Students can be using at your school or your institution. If you can't, the bare minimum, start with a phone. The phone is of even 100,000. There are smartphones where I can still open the same virtual class we use, and I can attend my lecture from wherever I am. Okay? I don't encourage them to use them for exams because the typing ability somehow reduces. But I've seen students actually who grew up with phones and they are good and they actually type a full exam, and the guy gets 90, says, I used my phone, and gets a 90.
Today, as early as
that.
What people are exposed to tabs and...
Yeah. There are also aspects where you find that really to build and customize a learning platform is expensive, or it takes a bit of time and takes patience and commitment. When Professor Lawrence Muganga came in after his training abroad, and he was also trained here, also then went abroad at several institutions, Harvard, then he came back. One of the things he wanted was to have an online learning platform that is checked by National Council for Education and meets the standards to be able to start blended learning. For us, when every institution closed, we were busy teaching and examining students. As everybody cut a year, they say we lost a year, what? I hear those stories up today. At Victoria University, learning never stopped, even as everybody was locked at home. We were busy studying, and when the country opened, we went for graduation. Now, that requires you to have a real attention to strategy building, and your people are committed. If you don't do that, you'll start a project and will die halfway, and you invested money. We built a V class. I've been an education editor for close to 2 decades. I know what I'm saying. I'm not saying this because I'm a marketing manager for Victoria University. If you know a better learning platform that Victoria University, that they've built, is an online learning platform, please present it to me and let's discuss, because I would also want to really learn from you. Because I believe this institution has set a pure, solid, customized learning platform. But you asked about the challenges. It takes time to build that. You need to get committed staff. We have individuals, particularly I don't have mentioned name here, who has to dedicate her time day and night to be able to stick on that and build. When people say it's not working, they have to build it your way. So you need to have people who are committed also to building a platform for you. And that helps you. Obviously, the other aspect you find, the students will tell you, laptops are very expensive. The other day I was talking to one of the investors, and he has a university, and I was telling him, look, why don't you go abroad? These companies can actually send you a full container of laptops, and you can actually negotiate for a bit of tax waivers. I still believe this government loves education, and that's why we have the First Lady, Mama, as Education Minister. That's why we still have people in finance. Honorable Kasaija is a father, he understands, and these people understand. If we so much care to build our country, then we would also be able to give waivers, and I know they can give you a waiver to have containers of laptops brought into the country. Now, when those laptops come, they are not for selling outside. They are basically for students. And when you bring them in, make a laptop you're selling at almost 3 million shillings or 2 million shillings, sell it at around 900,000. So students get it at almost no profit or a marginal profit, and students can actually access those laptops. And also, banks have started an avenue where they give loans for laptops. If you work with an institution, yes. So what they do is that they know you don't release this child's results until they have actually paid up this loan. So you sign, institution commits that it will hold your results until you've paid. So you never get your transcript until you have fully paid. And also work out a methodology. That money you pay it as you are paying your tuition. You also pay for the laptop in small installments. By the time you finish your 9 semesters, if you're doing a bachelor's degree at a university like Victoria, where you have a trimester system, which is actually affordable because we got money for 2 semesters and subdivided it into 3 to make it affordable. When people hear 3, they think you just put up 2 million, 2 million, 2 million. No, actually, we got the 1.8 million, subdivided it again, we combined, you pull the mathematics, bring 1 to 1, those are 2, subdivide it into 3. That means the load on a student is less. You're paying the same money, but the load on you is less. That's a trimester system. And now you also make sure now the laptops, the payment is also cut in small halves. I'm saying these things because I want institutions to learn from them. Whatever we are doing that is right, it is not for competition. That's why we get it wrong at times, people. It's for the benefit, and everybody should learn this. And if we did it wrong, you can do it even better. Or if we didn't do it so perfect, you can do it better. But for us, we know what we did is fantastic. It's a great job. So create small installments for students to pay. You can even make them monthly installments, where a student can actually pay like 50, 50, or even 40,000 per month. By the time someone finishes the 3 years, he has paid up a laptop, or even if it is a 3 million laptop, he has paid it up, but make the laptops also cheaper for them through a mechanism that is okay. That's why you need to negotiate with the banks to make sure. I don't want to be promoting banks here, but I know there are banks that do it. If they want, they should actually pay you advance to come and make their case. But there are banks that do that, and institutions must embrace that. Start with your lecturers. Make sure every lecturer has a good laptop. Train them how to use the laptops, because the challenge we also have is that our teachers, they came from the same training and breeding we were in.
You can only give what you
in
have.
Uganda, bagamba babisinga ffe abasomera mu institution yeze mabega. They are as raw as some
So
of
they
us.
can't give
what they don't have. I love you, Robert. That's the thing. So what do? You have to first train them, which is also a cost. Actually, even have to teach them how to teach in a way you want them to teach. Actually, at Victoria University now, we've agreed that we are putting up a free program, which is a Harvard program, which I encourage several other people who are interested in teaching to embrace. It's a Harvard prepared program from Harvard, which teaches people how to teach. So now it's a short program. You don't have to take long. It's less than a year. You actually get to do the program, almost like a PGD. You finish it, and actually you know how to teach. Now with tech coming, we teach you how even to use tech to teach. Okay? With the new media and the new things coming, when I went to a journalism school like you, they will teach us how to write, you started with a very good preamble, how to produce a negative to get a photo. My brother on camera will know these things, but now he's on digital. From here, he can cut, share.
I remember newspaper and magazine production, how to count space.
You count space using a ruler, and then, oh Jesus,
now,
we've come a long way.
All these are computers.
And those are the things they were teaching us.
Yes.
Now, you meet a teacher who was teaching you then, you want him to teach a student about individual. You're teaching them about to use ChatGPT, and they don't understand. A student actually goes to ChatGPT and quickly uses things and xeroxes and plagiarizes work. This teacher doesn't understand these things. You think the student has used his head, but he plagiarized. How do you avoid plagiarism? You set a paper. Because I can also come with problems of plagiarism. Where student just orders and the thing writes for him and he submits. What you've got to do is that you need to teach teachers how to teach. Then you also teach these lecturers how to set exams. I gave you an example when I was starting, how I can ask you to write a story about maybe, what story can we write? We can write a story about any event in the country, like maybe the traffic jam in the city. Try ChatGPT, we never know everything. And I can tell you've used ChatGPT. But I can also know if it is quoting people, it will not go quote the IGP today. It will not create for you that. If you need to create a semblance of a quote, if I double check when I'm marking you with the IGP or anyone, the source you've quoted, and says I didn't talk to you, I'm going to reduce the marks. So get a way you can assess that knocks out plagiarism. There's also technology that shows that this is plagiarized work. But also apart from that, even the answers you give, I should have the conscience and understanding of how I can train ChatGPT to give me what it gives me. So I can tell from a lecturer's point of view, this work is not yours. Otherwise, if I'm the old kind of lecturer, the same lecturer that trained me in one of the prestigious universities in this country, chances are very high if he doesn't embrace AI, technology, and the rest, it's going to be obsolete. And you bring them to teach your people, you can talk about these nice things, you can be a very good vice chancellor and talk about these nice things. If you don't train people, like we've done, you're wasting time.
Well, time indeed is flying. I must say bye-bye to you.
Thank you. I would love to talk.
Lovely,
you know, being a journalist, I would want to go.
I'll just give this sword mine. Just a minute for your concluding remarks.
The concluding remarks are, we are in a situation now, not a situation per se, we are in a kind of time where we're actually embracing more students who are coming. If you really want to have a difference in education, you can come to Victoria University. But you see, that is a choice. I'm not telling everybody to come, and we can't have everybody come to Victoria University. There are 90,000 students, 90,000 plus students who start for senior 6. They all can't come to Victoria University. They've got to make different choices, and we respect those choices. But one thing you need to do, if you're a student and you're watching me today, if you're a parent and you're watching me today, you need to think deeply about the things I've said. And if you missed this show, I think you can be able to pick it on YouTube.
Definitely.
And of UBC. You go listen to the things we've been talking about. And ask yourself, is my institution giving me this? And if it is not, please do not waste your money with that institution. And come check us. If you don't think we're offering even at Victoria what you need, you don't have to give us that child, because your child's future, or your own future if you're paying for yourself, matters much. But I can assure you, we have been very intentional. We have followed up the process diligently. We have seen the mistakes that have been done in the past by other institutions, and we are trying to correct, and we have corrected some of the things already. Now, I pray, you move with us on this journey and prepare your child while knowing that in the next 3-4 years, if your institution is not prepared in the way it is teaching, and I'm glad you called us to tell the world the truth, because they watch us across the world. If you don't prepare for the new coming of new jobs, some of the jobs are going to be obsolete. Your child will be useless, and even worse off even worse off than where he was or she was when she was joining the institution. So you need to plan. Think through it. And you make sure your institution serves the real interests of your future for your child, or even to make sure that education really counts. If it can't count, don't pay for it.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Conan Rusinje from Victoria University. Very important to note is we are now educating students to work in a dynamic world. You're never graduating to look for a job in Uganda, but any part of this world. So are you prepared to do that? If not, then make sure you find the best decisions to be prepared, not to work in any part of the country, but any part of the world. And what does that mean? That you're going to be competing with other students from other countries who have had various methodologies of learning, and among them, the world is now moving into ICT. Very fluent, very eloquent with ICT. So where do you stand? See you tomorrow. God be with you till we meet. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
107.3, Kampala 96.9, Mbale 95.7, Jinja 98.6, Soroti. You are all covered.
UBC Butego. UBC Butego.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
These American products are violating the public sway of African nations by empowering conception preventions, yet we have no enactment in our constitution that advocates for the anti-conception medication or the number of children one is supposed to give birth to.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, a documentary film about our unity as Ugandans and Africans.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
We people who live across the Nile, we are so related from our myth or from just the Nile.
We are the same people, and genetically we are even the same people.
We are similar people.
We are one.
Pamoja, we are one.
Use that word, pamoja.
Premiering every week from 3rd February to June 2024 at the National Theatre and Indere Center. Daily screenings are from 4th February to June 2024 at Ham Cinemax and the National Theatre. To get a ticket, call 0778 78